Hello, 100 Coffees. This is Angela, one of your founders and your relationship ambassador. And today is the last lesson in our series on building better relationships. So we're going through the 4 lessons. So this is lesson 4 for better relationships. And the link to this book is in the first lesson. So if you've been following along, you should have your piece of paper handy with your columns. Remember our columns? So 4 columns. The very first lesson was to write 4 columns, yourself in column 1, and then 3 people that you wanted to build, increase your relationships with. And then 1 person, either on the back of the page or on a different page, that you are currently having conflict with. Okay? So, hopefully by now, you have determined whether each person is outgoing or reserved, and people or task oriented. So under each of my people, I have myself, my husband, and my 2 daughters. And I have underneath the names, I have the letters O or R for outgoing or reserved, and P or T for people or tasks. So each person should have 2 indicators for them, either outgoing and reserved or people and tasks. So then underneath that, I have each person's letter. Now this is their primary trait. Someone had asked on yesterday's lesson if we can be a blend. Absolutely. Everyone is a unique blend of all 4 characteristics, all 4 personality styles. But for this lesson, we're keeping it simple, and we're just going to address the primary trait. So to get the blend that you are, we would need to do an assessment, and I do offer those. So if you're interested in taking an assessment or an online course in any of these and getting a deeper knowledge for yourself and whoever you would like to connect with better, message me and I can help you out with that. So for today, you should have a letter underneath every single person. So all of yourself and 3 people, and then your extra person. You should have a letter, either D, I, S, or C under each of those names. Now today, what this whole series is bringing us to is how to, 1, know who we are, right? And then 2, understand who others are around us. 3, which is today, is going to be how do we adapt, knowing now who I am, knowing who you most likely are. Without an assessment, you can't be sure, but based on behaviors you're seeing, what would you estimate this person you're dealing with is as a primary? Now that you know that, how do I adapt myself to have a better relationship with you? Because again, the only person we can change is ourselves, right? So the one who has the information is the one who's responsible for making the change and adapting. I know that's not fair to some people, but that's how it works, right? The best way you can share that responsibility is share this tool with other people, and hopefully it will help them as well. It could build your relationship. If one of the people on your list would like to learn the information, share it with them. It's really simple. 2 questions, right? We started with 2 questions. Are you outgoing or reserved? Are you people or task oriented? And you can help them navigate through this lesson just like I have navigated with you. So here's what we're going to do today. Today is all about adapting. So we're going to start with you, because these are your relationships. Okay, so what I'm going to teach you today is how do you, now that you know what your letter is, what your primary trait is, how do you then take that information and adapt your communication style and your behaviors to have better relationships and ultimately have less conflict in your life, okay? So what I want you to do is, as I go through the letters, of course I always start with D, we'll go D and then I, then S and C, and you may have to listen to this a couple of times to get your notes down. I'm going to give you 3 things to help you with each of these relationships. So for those of you who indicated that yourself, in your own personal column, you are a D, most likely, primary trait, whenever you are interacting with another D, so if any of your other people, any of your 4 other people, your 3 that you want to improve and your 1 you're having conflict with, if any of those are also a D, then under their column, I want you to write the following things. So the strength, each relationship has a strength, a struggle, and a strategy. Okay, a strategy for success. None of these tools are meant to be taken and put you in a box and tell you this is the way you are and you will never ever change. That's not what it's meant for. It's also not meant to be used to manipulate someone. Okay, it's not meant to be used that, oh, now I understand how you think, so if I do X, Y, Z, then I can get you to do something for me. That's not what it's meant for. This is meant for you to understand you and to also understand others and help facilitate a better relationship. That's what it's meant for, okay? So when you are a D and you are dealing with another D, okay, the strength of your relationship, other than the fact that you already talk their language because you are very similar, right? You attack the world in the same way. You're both outgoing and you're both task-oriented. So you are aggressive and you get things done. Very driven. So most likely you will naturally speak the same language, but here's some tips. So strengths is you have mutual goals, admiration, and the desire to get results, which can be very positive and affirming. So if you're working with a D, find a common goal to get behind them or have them come on your team and work towards a common goal. If 2 Ds are working in a common goal, look out. If you are in their way, you will get run over. Okay? 2 Ds together working on a common goal can do amazing, amazing things. Here's a struggle though. So a struggle with 2 Ds working together is a power struggle, right? Only one of you can be in charge at a time. Ds love to be in charge. They naturally take charge. They're natural leaders. So when you put 2 Ds in the same project, there can be a little bit of a power struggle. So watch for that. You want to be sure that only one person is the boss at a time. You can take turns being the boss, but only one of you gets to be the boss at any given time. Okay? So that's a struggle. Strategy for that is don't force issues. Allow this person to have some choices, control, and authority. Remember, just like you, they also like choices, control, and authority. And if you want to assert your authority on them, they're not going to take that very kindly. So you want to share the authority and share the control, give them choices, and then let them go. Don't check on their work. Don't come behind them. Let them go because they don't need you to babysit them. And if you try to babysit them, they will leave because they'll figure they're not needed. They are needed elsewhere, okay? So that's a D and a D. Now, if you're a D, so you're a D, and someone on your list is an I, okay? Remember, I's are outgoing people, all right? So D's to I's, your strength of this relationship is that you're both fast-paced, right? You're both outgoing, so you both think like this and get things done, right? This person may desire to please you and follow your leadership. I's love to hop on the bandwagon of someone who's moving and grooving and going somewhere fast, right? That's exciting. We like excitement. So that can be a benefit for you. A struggle, though, like I said yesterday, is I's are a bit squirrely. We suffer from, sparkly object syndrome. So we can hop on your bandwagon and be really excited until we get distracted. So your struggle with working with an I is keeping them focused because D's like to delegate and then go on to the next thing. And if you delegate to an I and you don't check back, you could have a problem if you just assume an I is going to finish something. Because if they get distracted in the meantime, you could come back and have a bigger problem than you left. Just saying. So your struggle is focus on getting things done. Your focus on getting things done can clash with this person's desire to have fun and take life as it comes, basically fly by the seat of their pants, which doesn't necessarily work for a D. Okay? D's like to have fun, but they like to get the work done. So the strategy for this is to realize that this person does not usually focus on one thing. They like to focus on many things. So give them small tasks. Give them short-term things that can get done within a day or two, and check back with them and say, how did that go? Have them report in to you and tell you when they're done, and then give them the next thing. Don't give them the whole project at once. Tell them, all right, I need you to go do this and come back. I need you to go do this and come back. I need you to go do this and come back. And that way you're getting regular checkups from them. If they don't come back, you know they got distracted. Okay? So those are D's and I's. D's and S's are opposite. So D's, they are not fast-paced like you. S's are slower paced, okay? So the strength to this, though, the strength with working with your opposite is that they have what you don't have. So they're going to see things you don't see, and they're going to fill in gaps that you didn't realize were there. So with S's, you like to lead, and this personality type likes to follow and help, which can be an asset, okay? This can be a strength because they let you be the leader. They're not going to fight you for control, but also they like to help and serve. So if you give them a direction and you tell them to go do this, they will go and they will love it and they will feel fulfilled, okay? As long as you don't stomp all over them and yell at them to get them to do it, all right? Struggles. If you come on too strong, this person can feel intimidated and take it personally. Again, you can squash an S with your dominance and your driving nature, not meaning to, but you can squash an S, and an S squashed will freeze and back up into a corner and disappear eventually. So that's not going to do you any good if you delegate something to an S and then you run off and leave and didn't realize you squashed them. They're going to be looking for a way out, and they're afraid for you to come back. All right, they're already defeated. So that's not going to help you. So strategy. Be patient and willing to spell things out step by step when working on tasks. Again, remember from yesterday, S's are really good at keeping the status quo, being consistent, and giving you exactly what you want. But here's the trick. D's don't like to fill in the blanks. D's like to tell you what they want, let you figure it out, and come back and enjoy it when it's done. They don't care how you get it done. They just want it done. S's, they need detail. They need to know exactly what's expected so they don't disappoint you. So D's, slow down, explain yourself, fill in the blanks for the S's so that you can have exactly what you want when you get back, and then everyone will be happy. Now C's. So D's who are working with C's, you're both task-oriented, okay? So you both like to get things done, you both like to complete things. C's are a little different in that though. So here's some strengths. Both of you focus on tasks and enjoy working independently. C's don't like to be babysat, right? With this person's attention to detail, you can accomplish a lot together. So C's like to finish things, D's like to start things, and you're both task-oriented. So C's, you're going to come and tell a C, I need XYZ done, and they're making a list. And they are so excited to check things off of that list. But a C, like we said, is going to want to get it completely right. And a D wants things done like this. So you're going to have to give that C a deadline. And C's have a lot of questions. So D's aren't always the most patient of people. And you have to calm down, like with the S's, calm down a little bit. Let the C's ask you every question they need. And that way, when you leave, you know exactly what you're going to get when you come back. But give them a deadline. Don't walk away without a deadline, or you may never get that project done. So here's some struggles. You tend to move quickly, whereas this person likes to think things through. Your focus is getting things done now, and his or her focus is getting things done right, like we just said, right? So your desire to control things may discourage a cautious person because this person does not like to feel pressured. Again, tell him what you need, let him ask questions, walk away and let him do it, but give him a deadline. So here's your strategy. Don't rush, don't push, don't criticize a cautious person. Be patient and give him or her time to make decisions. Be willing to answer their questions again, and don't expect them to be a risk taker. If they encounter a problem, they're going to come back to you and ask you what you would like done, okay? Most likely they're going to already research the options. They just want you to make the decision because, again, you're the boss and you're the leader, okay? So don't get flustered when the C comes back and asks you something. They're asking you because they want it to be right and they don't want to disappoint you. So for my D's out there, you should have strategies, struggles, and strengths for each of your people in your column. Now we're going to talk to the I's. So if you categorized yourself as an I, an outgoing people person, like myself, here's some tips for you. So I's working with D's. So you're an I. Look on your column, anyone you categorized as a D personality, outgoing and task-oriented. You're both outgoing and activity-driven, right? You're both that aggressive, go, go, go people, right? Both of you like to win. You may admire the strengths and achievements of this person. You will enjoy following this person, okay? You're not going to feel drained following this person. They will probably energize you. So if you're looking for a running mate, this is a good running mate for you. They will push you and help you realize potential you didn't even know you had, okay? Much like, if you want an example, I'm an I, Michelle is a D. So when I go, oh, Michelle, it would be awesome to do X, Y, Z, she goes, awesome, I can make that happen for you, which gives me more space to grow, and I'm happy, and she's happy because I give her things to get done, okay? Great partnership, just for an example. Some struggles, though, here. You may find the other person to be too controlling while you are too permissive. I's tend to be easygoing, relaxed, go with the flow. D's, delegate and get it done. Delegate and get it done. So again, if I'm working with a D and I'm an I, and a D tells me to do something, I need to focus and make sure that I'm reporting back to that D, especially if there's a problem. Because if I don't communicate, that D is not going to assume that something's wrong, because D's assume no communication means everything's good. Okay? So if you're an I and you're working with a D, communicate if there's a problem. Okay? Strategies here. Understand that a D-type person is direct and results-oriented. Be direct and to the point with him or her. Do not be afraid of confrontation. Expect it and do not take it personally. Work first and then have fun. I's like to have fun while they're working. With a D, if you're working with a D, get your work done first, and then they're more than happy to have fun with you. But the work has to be done first. They won't even talk to you until it's done. And a D will challenge an I. If an I has an amazing idea, a D will come back with questions, right? And it kind of comes across, it can come across as they're questioning you or they're correcting you, and that's not it. They are interested. You have got their attention. They want to know more information. A D is not going to waste their time asking you questions if they're not interested, because they are on to the next thing. They don't have time to waste. So I's, if you're working with a D and all of a sudden they start asking you questions, that's a good thing. You have their attention, take the floor, but don't waste their time. Get to the point. All right, an I with an I can be a dangerous thing. They may not get anything done, but they'll have lots of fun doing it. So some strengths of I's is both of you live enthusiastically and enjoy life and enjoy being with people. You both like to have fun and tend to forgive easily. So if things go terribly wrong in an I relationship, they tend to be very forgiving. They will forgive and forgive and forgive as long as they're having fun. Now, when an I stops having fun and things are going badly, then you could get in some trouble. But as long as we're all having fun, it's all forgiven, we'll roll with it, it's all good, no worries, right? So if any of you have worked any time with me, my saying I'm known for is no worries, it'll be fine, no worries, right? As long as things are going fine, it's no worries. Now, when things hit the fan, then I's kind of snap too and go, right? But you want to have a good relationship so before it hits the fan, right? Make sure you're having fun, it's lighthearted, and things are moving along and progressing. So some struggles. You both tend to live emotionally and may compete for attention. I's like to be the center of attention. You both are impulsive and can lead to challenges with following through with responsibilities and staying organized. I's aren't organized. And if two I's are together, imagine the tangents that you can get into and completely lose focus of your project. Okay, so one of you has to be responsible for staying organized and keeping on track. At least one of you, okay? I's and S's. So an I working with an S, again, you're both people-oriented, okay? So both of you are people-oriented. You like to talk, and the other person likes to listen, which is a good combination. You tend to get along very well. So I's and S's work together really well. But here's some problems that we can get into. Most struggles are related to pace. I's are like this. S's are more reserved. They're more slower, right? If you notice how the rate that people talk is usually the rate that they think. So I's usually talk really fast, and S's are more soft-spoken, and they're kind of quiet, and they're kind of slow when they talk, and they like to tell stories too, but they seem to take a long time to tell a story to an I who's like this, right? So pace can be a struggle. You like things fast-paced. Remember, we're talking to I's here. You like things fast-paced, exciting, spontaneous, with high energy, and the other person likes things more calm, quiet, and predictable. I's are not real predictable. I's can go off on a tangent, get an awesome idea, abandon a project, and run. And S, remember, consistent, steady, gives you exactly what you want, will sit there and finish the project on their own and never say a word to anyone when the I abandons them and goes on to another project. Okay? And that can get dangerous. If an I abandons an S too much, that can have problems. So some strategies. Slow down your approach, tone down your enthusiasm, don't overwhelm them with your energy, be sincere with praise and appreciation. Remember, they are not superficial. We talked about this yesterday. They take things to heart. They are very, very sweet and sincere. And if you are being fake with them, they will spot it right away, and you will lose their trust. So, slow down your approach, tone down your enthusiasm, be sincere with praise and appreciation. Do not embarrass this person in public. Allow this person time to warm up to you. So, I's like attention, and they love recognition, and they think everyone else does too, right? No, not everyone likes public praise and recognition. Do not pull your S friend up to the front of the room and say, hey everybody, look at Sally, isn't she amazing? Do you know what she did yesterday? I have to share this with you. It's just awesome. By the time you're done giving her all these kudos and praise and just loving all over her, which you think is like the ultimate, because to an I that is the ultimate, this S is just crumbling in front of everyone and thinking, oh my gosh, will you please let me get off the stage? They do not like that. They like to be the background. They like to be support. They like to quietly one-on-one be thanked and appreciated, not in public. Never in public. Surprise parties are usually a bad idea for S's. Just saying. So, I's to C's. I's and C's are opposites. Like the D's and S's, D's can squash S's, remember? Well, I's can drive C's crazy because C's are all about the details and I's are not about the details. I's are about the big picture. We don't know how it's going to get done. We don't even know how we did it, but we got through it. Yay, wasn't that fun? And C's are like, no, that wasn't fun. That was horrifying. I didn't have any details. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if it was going to work or not, and they don't like that. They need structure. So some strengths of working with your opposite is to provide a good balance to each other's weaknesses. You can learn from each other's, you can learn from the other person's analytical nature, and this person can learn not to take things so seriously and have a little more fun. But like the D's, have fun after the work is done, okay? Not during. C's are all work until the work is done, and then they'll play. But first work. Some struggles. Your differences can lead to misunderstandings. You love to talk and be on the go, but the other person likes time alone. In fact, C's thrive, and we'll talk about this in a minute. C's thrive in their alone time. They have to analyze and absorb and think and reflect, and that's where they recharge. I's recharge by talking. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. I's recharge by talking. So if an I is too talkative to a C who's trying to recharge, you're actually going to drain them without meaning to. So some strategies. Tone down your emotional reactions. Like the S's, they're reserved. Don't be so fast. Slow down your talk. Be more factual and objective, especially in the face of conflict. They need facts. Just the facts, ma'am. Remember that show? They need facts. Facts is where they thrive. They don't care what your opinion is. They don't care that you like it, dislike it. Doesn't matter. They have no feeling about whether it's liked or disliked. They have no opinion. They want to know, what are the facts? What can I count on? Where can I, put all of my eggs in this basket because I know it's going to be there tomorrow, right? The I's are all about what it could potentially be, and it's going to be amazing, but the C's are about, what is it really? I want to know reality. Reality check here. What really is it, right? So, don't rush or push this person again. Be specific in your communication and expect this person to speak literally and take things literally. C's don't like the word always or never. They don't like that. There's no facts behind always and never. How many? How many is always? How many is all of them? How many is everyone? Is everyone 20 people? Is everyone 2 people? How many did you ask? Everyone I asked says this is a problem. Well, did you ask 2 people or did you ask 100 people? How exactly big is this problem, right? So there's a difference in communication styles. If you're talking to a C and you're an I, get your details, get your facts, be prepared. Don't just walk in and have a half-baked idea and approach a C. You're asking for conflict, okay? All right, we're going to move to the S's. So if you're an I, you should have all of your columns filled out or know what they're going to be. Come back and fill it out when you watch this again. Now we're going to move on to S's. So if you categorize yourself as a reserved people person, that is an S. So S's, working with D's, again, D's are your opposite. Your strengths in this partnership is you are a good supporter and encourager for this driven person who seeks to achieve and exert leadership. You enjoy following people. You enjoy serving. This is a good match for you as long as you're getting what you need from the relationship. Your struggles. This person can exhaust you by being controlling or by expecting instant action. S's do not give an instant answer to anything. They have to think things through. They have to think, how are you going to feel about that? Well, how is this going to affect this person? So they're not going to give you a quick answer. But D's expect quick answers. They ask you something, they expect like this. Okay? So be prepared when you see a D coming. Have your homework done with at least an answer to say, can I get back to you tomorrow? Can I do some research and get to you this afternoon about that? D's are fine to wait. They just need to know when to come back to you. Okay, so S's, don't be afraid. Don't feel pushed to give that D an answer right now, but know that they need some kind of answer. So you need to be prepared to give him some kind of answer. Okay, so you like to relax and go slow, but the other person does everything with a sense of urgency. You can become stressed, and this dominant person can become impatient. Okay, so to prevent that, here's some strategies. Do not take it personally when this person takes action without you. A D has a clock going in their head, and they're much like I explained with my husband, we're opposites. So your opposite, if your opposite is an aggressive, outgoing person and you're a reserved person, know that your opposite person is going to have a ticker going off in their head. And when they ask you to do something, they are going to give you whatever time that is in their head, and they don't even know how much time that is. It's just however much time it feels that it's time to move. And if they haven't heard from you, they're going to move without you. So if you don't want the train to move along without you, then be sure you're answering them. Be sure you're giving them a check back with me date or time. Okay. Now I know some S's who are so afraid of conflict that they will delay and delay and delay because the D they're working with has habitually moved on without them, and they don't mind that. They would much rather just be ignored and just let the train go and hope that one day, it'll just be brushed under the carpet and no one will know. D's will move on without you, but they're also keeping score. They're very, very competitive and very challenging. So S's, my word to you is, it's okay if the train moves on without you. Don't intentionally let the train move on without you too many times, because that person will eventually think you are not a viable member of the team. If that team is your family, that team is your husband and wife coupling, if that is your boss relationship, they will think you are a waste of space if you are not pulling your portion of the train. Okay? So don't do that to yourself. I know you don't like conflict, but sometimes you gotta step in and just tell them, I just need a little extra time. This is when I need it by. Put up your boundary. You'll feel safe. Put up your boundary. It takes some practice, but it's better than the train leaving without you. Okay? Permanently. All right. So, that is our S's and D's. S's and I's. So S people working with I's. You tend to get along well because you're both people-oriented, like we talked about before. You both provide praise and appreciation to the other. So it's an energetic relationship, much like the D's and I's energize each other. I's and S's energize each other, okay? So you each help each other feel good about the other person, right? So that's a strength. That's a great friendship, great work relationship to have. Some struggles, though. Your biggest struggle will be keeping up with the pace of this person because, again, like the D, I's are like this, and boy, we get bored and we move on to the next thing. So, again, they can move on without you. They won't discount you as much because I's are very forgiving, and I's don't tend to keep score because that's a detail, right? We just will move on without you, or we'll just quit considering your feelings, which will make you want to leave. Instead of the D leaving this relationship, the S will leave this relationship because the S will feel like, well, they don't really care about me. They don't even ask my opinion anymore. And it's not because they don't care. It's because they think you don't care. So they're being nice and not putting you in that spot. So if you don't want to be in that spot, you need to give your opinion every once in a while, okay? Or initiate something every once in a while. So some struggles. Keeping up with the pace. This person likes excitement and activity, but you like things to go slower and calmer. Okay? Inspiring type people like to have large circles of friends, and S people like smaller groups of social gatherings. So 1 or 2 friends maximum. They probably will have one really good friend their whole life, maybe 2, but that's about it. Where I's, if you're traveling with an I's are the life of the party. They attract crowds of people, right? They are like spotlights on them, whether there's a spotlight or not. So an S who hangs out with an I too much can get overwhelmed just from the extra energy around the I, not even having to do with the I. Okay, so if that's happening to you, here's some strategies. Be more outgoing and energetic with this person. So amp it up a little bit. Not all the time, you'll wear yourself out. But when you have to interact with this person, raise your energy a little bit, okay? An inspiring person is very impulsive. Be careful not to let this person talk you into something, okay? Because I's have all these great ideas, and S's just have so much fun with I's that they're like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. We totally should do that. And then pretty soon, you're in hot water and you don't realize how you got there, okay? So try and keep your own faculties about you and don't let the I's talk you into anything that you're not willing to go all the way into. Set some limits and do not feel pressured by this person's energy. Again, boundaries. Set your boundary. It's okay to set a boundary. It's okay to say no. Remember we talked about that yesterday. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I'll go with you this far, but I'm not going any farther. I'm still here for you. Love you to death. Not going any farther. Okay? Have fun. I'll be here cheering you on, but I'm going to this point. Okay? Set your boundaries. Realize that he or she moves in large circles and don't take it personally if they don't give you their full attention. Okay? I's, even when you are alone with them, don't always give you their full attention because they're always scanning the room, looking at all the, squirrel, whatever it is. Okay? And it's not personal. It's just they are very lack focus. Okay? So an S can feel conflict from this and feel like they're not being given the proper attention that they need, and they need that. And it's okay to tell someone that you need that. That's okay. That's normal. Okay? So, S's and C's. C's are reserved like you. So slower pace, both of you are slower pace. Neither of you is pushy, and you both prefer to avoid conflict, which is good. You can enjoy being together without a lot of conversation. So this is the type of person that you can usually sit next to for hours and never talk and have a great time just because you're in each other's presence. Okay, S's and C's are people who can do that. I's and D's cannot sit still. They cannot not talk. It's just as impossible. So S's and C's, if you're looking for a quiet friend, S's and C's are your quiet friend. But know that if you go to hang out with a C, most likely they're working on a project and you're going to be handed something to help them because that's just more efficient. That's how C's think. So you tend to be sensitive while the other person has a tendency toward being critical. Remember, they're task thinkers, you're people thinkers. Okay? Your feelings-oriented nature can clash with the other person's logic-oriented nature. You want warm relationships, but the other person can seem more cold and impersonal to you. So if they're in their thinking box, they're not even realizing that they're hurting your feelings because they're not feeling, they're thinking. And they literally can go into a thinking box and hang out and be totally happy where you are a feeler. So if you're having a conflict between a people person and a task person, a really quick way to do a self-check is to say, so how you feeling today? Or what'd you think about that? And if they look at you like, huh? So if you say, how'd you feel about that? And they go, that tells you they're not feeling right now, they're thinking, okay? So that's number one. And if you're a feeler and that person's in a thinking box, that could be your problem right there. And it's not a personal thing, it's that they're in their thinking mode and you're getting your feelings hurt. Vice versa, if you ask someone, what do they think about that? And they go, I don't, they'll usually say, well, I felt like, right? So however they answer you, or if they have to think about it for a minute, it's because they're in their opposite box, okay? So if they can't answer the feel, they're thinking. If they can't answer the think, they're feeling. And adjust yourself accordingly. Meet them where they are, and the conflict will go away. If you're having a people issue and you're talking to a task person who's got a list that they're going down, they're not going to listen to you naturally without you saying, hey, by the way, this task that you need us to do isn't going to get done because 5 people just passed out over there because it's so hot. And they're going to go, oh my gosh, well, we need to switch gears and fix whatever's causing that problem so the people can start working back on my task, right? That's how they think. It's not that they don't care, it's that they literally zone into their task. And they figure the people are fine until someone tells them otherwise. If you come at them and you don't say, if you want your task done, we got to help the people. If you just say, everybody's hot and passing out over there, they're going to go, what does that have to do with me? I'm not the cooling person. I'm not air conditioning. Why are you talking to me about this, right? And it's not that they don't care. It's that that's how they're thinking. Why are you talking to me? This has nothing to do with me. Why are you even talking to me about this? Make it about them and what they're working on, and they will snap to and help you. They just don't realize they need to help you, okay? So this can be 90% of your conflict right there. All right, so strategies. Do not take this person's questioning, critical nature personally. Remember, they question. That's what they do. This person likes to think deeply and analyze everything. Be willing to give in-depth answers. Do not push this person into closeness. They are not a people person, and they're not touchy-feely, and they probably will not hug you unless they have to, or really, really love you. Realize that this person is more task-oriented than people-oriented, or he or she may not be as warm or sensitive as you are. It doesn't mean you can't be friends. It doesn't mean you can't be spouses. It doesn't mean you can't be intimate. It just means that's not their nature. And until they move out of the thinking box to the feeling box, a hug to them is like, what? Why are you hugging me? Right? So if you're feeling unloved and you need love from this person and that's your conflict, you need to get where they are first, meet them where they are, and then bring them over to your side. Okay? All right, so last but certainly not least, we have our C's. So S's, you should have all your columns completed. C's, I'm talking to you. So if you categorize yourself as reserved and task-oriented, this is for you. This has been a really long video. I'm so sorry. Okay, so very last one. So C's working with D's. Again, you're both task-oriented, okay? So both of you share a similar bent toward accomplishing tasks. As long as you share the same goals, you can be a very effective team. Remember what we said? D's like to start things and C's like to finish them. Can be a great partnership. Some struggles. You may have conflict if you take different approaches to accomplishing a task. C's are all about process, and D's are just about getting it done. C's don't want to have to repeat themselves, and D's are good to fix it later. So this could be a problem. You want things done right, and this person focuses on getting things done quickly. They may think that you are over-analyzing things, while you may think they are being too hasty. Okay? So again, it's not, you both have the same goal, you're approaching it differently. They're not doing anything to you. They are doing whatever it takes for them to succeed. So know that. It's not personal. It's a different approach. Okay? Here's some strategies. Accept the fact that D-type person needs to have some control and the ability to take some action. Don't paralyze them and make them wait for the process to be perfect before they can take action. Do not criticize or expect perfection. Instead, be willing to recognize and affirm this person's accomplishments. Okay? So again, you live in the process world. They live in the get things done now world. So tell them what you need, give them little bits as you finish it that they can move forward on, and then let them know when the next part's going to be ready. Okay? C's to I's. Again, these are your opposites. This is going to be your highest level of conflict. Your strengths balance each other. You need the other person's freshness and fun, and the other person needs your discipline and logic. But you struggle because you're opposites, and you may have a hard time understanding each other. You may not relate to this person's talkative, outgoing nature, and he or she may not relate to your analytical, cautious nature. Your standards may be too high for this person. I's are all about fun, and yes, they want to achieve the things they want to achieve, but unless they set the standard, which can be really high for themselves, unless they set the standard, they will most likely not meet your expectation, because your expectation is perfection, and they're all about fun. Okay? You may naturally withhold the praise on which this person thrives. Because they drive you crazy, you may think, well, I'm not going to tell you did a good job until you're done, which can kill an I. If you want an I to work for you and you want an I to go for the goal and beyond, you have to give them small victories and keep them going. It's the fuel that keeps them going. So as a C, I know you're all about the end result, but if you're working with an I, you got to give them little praises, here, even if it feels like, oh, but it's not true, but they're not done yet, but they didn't really deserve it. We haven't met the goal yet. And what if we don't meet the goal and I've already praised them 5 times along the way? It's okay. Just try to praise where you can and be genuine about it. But know that if you don't praise them and it's been too long and they've been working towards a goal, they will get worn out and you will lose them. So better to praise them a little bit along the way than have to do it all yourself. Okay? Some strategies. You must modify your expectations of this person. Realize that this person will never have the attention to detail that you do. Look for this person's strengths and be generous with recognition and approval. Listen enthusiastically to his or her stories, which will drive you crazy because we have a lot of them. Most of all, do not push for perfection or this person may become discouraged and quit. But again, like with the D's, give the I's a deadline. I's need short-term goals. They need quick things to get done to keep motivated, okay? So don't feel like you got to sit all day and listen to their story. You can say, you know what, I've got 5 minutes. Can you give me a 5-minute story? Absolutely, because then that's a challenge. I can make it a 5-minute story. I'll just talk faster, right? And you're most likely not listening anyway. So let them talk for 5 minutes, watch your clock and go, all right, time's up. So now we're going to talk about process. Great. So they've gotten energized. They've talked what they wanted to talk about. And now you can get back to work. Okay? All right. So C's talking to S's. You're both reserved, you like things slower, you both enjoy a low-key relationship free from conflict. So again, this person can give you more energy back, okay? Some struggles though, you may become frustrated when this person does not appear to think things through the way you do or share your enthusiasm for key details. This person is feelings oriented, so you may come across as cold and impersonal. Again, you are a task person. S's are task as well, but people are their task. So if you look at your S's and you think, how come you just don't get it? How come you're not giving me all the details that I want? Realize that their details are the people. So if you can communicate to them in a way that makes them understand that what you need them to do is going to help all the people they care about, they are all yours. They are all yours, and they will give you exactly what you want them to give you because, again, they want to give you exactly what's expected. Just understand their tasks are people, okay? So here's some strategy. Be aware of your focuses on doing tasks correctly. This person's focus is on peace and security in relationships. Be more warm and personal. Be careful not to criticize. Show sincere appreciation for any effort that is made. Do not set your standards too high or this person may feel inadequate or simply give up. If an S feels like there's no way they can possibly win, they're not even going to start. Okay? Because they don't want to disappoint you. So why bother? So don't set it too high and give them time to come to your side. Explain why. What's the why behind what you're doing? And they'll be on board. Okay? Especially if the why involves people. Last but not least, C's to C's, which is easy because you both communicate the same way, right? Be yourself. Two C's together can get a lot done, right? Both of you like to work on hard projects and focus on details and quality. You both tend to be serious and factual in your conversation. So imagine two engineers talking over lunch, right? They're going to give you statistics and how long it took for them to get this project done and how many more hours it's going to take and how many people and how much the cost is going to be. And they talk in figures. Facts and figures are their communication. So when you're speaking to another C, that's probably exhilarating to you because they're speaking in your language. You don't have to work so hard, right? There can be trouble, though, when you disagree on what version of the truth you're going to use. Because you're both right. You're both correct in the way that you studied it. You're both correct in your research. You both researched it to death. So one of you, though, has to be a little more right. Okay? Like the D's, only one can be the boss. With the C's, only one can have the actual accurate number that we're looking for. Okay? Both of you can quickly shut down and withdraw if things aren't going right. You both tend to wage war of indirect communication, which means you're not going to say it right to the person, but you're going to go around that person and make sure they understand that you're upset. Okay? So be careful with that if you're a C, and you may need to bring in a third party to mediate that for you. If you're working on a big project and you're working with another C and you can't agree with who's right. Most likely, what causes that, go to the person who gave you the project, and that leader will determine which set of figures is going to support what they're looking for. Okay, you're both right in your way of pursuing it. It's just there's only one report that can be turned in. And it could just be a matter of, I want it to lay out this direction. No, I think that we should start this way. And the formatting is different. But the facts and figures are facts and figures. It's all in how it's presented. So you may have to get a third party involved in that one. Strategies. Be open and flexible when this person suggests a different way of doing something. Be very careful with any criticism because you know that criticism of your own work is one of your own greatest fears. Do not set your standards so high that the other person feels he or she may not be able to reach them. Be specific with words of encouragement. Tell this person exactly what he or she did correctly and why you liked it. Basically, how would you like someone to treat you? That would be your role for C. Okay? And of course, the whole premise behind this series is for you to learn who you are and who others are around you and how to adapt, right? So we always work on the platinum rule. You've heard the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated, not how you want to be treated. If I'm an I and you're a C and I treat you how an I would want to be treated, you're not going to appreciate that. I need to acknowledge that you're a C and I'm an I, and I need to treat you, the C, as a C would like to be treated. That's our whole goal here. So I hope you've enjoyed this series. If you would like more information on assessments, you can message me. We do have trainings as well every single week. We have webinars Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So if you want more information on that, I can give you the link for that as well. So I hope you're having a great week so far. It's only Monday, and I have some coffees scheduled with a lot of you this week. If I haven't had coffee with you yet, please reach out and schedule a coffee with me. And until our next coffee, this has been Angela. Bye.